Hey you guys, it's Holland. What's good and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing a part 2 of my astrology birth chart reading on Blackpink's Lisa. Also, sorry guys, I will be going back to the robot voice for the time being because I am a senior in high school that is currently working on college and scholarship applications, so for now using the robot voice is a lot more convenient for me. For those of you who have a hard time understanding the robot voice, I will turn on the automatic subtitles, which are usually accurate. So before we get into this video, I recently uploaded a part 2 to my astrology birth chart reading for Blackpink's Jennie, a comeback review for the month of November, and a part 2 to my astrology birth chart reading for Blackpink's Rosé. So now let's get into the video. First is Lisa's first house, the house of identity, self-expression, people's first impressions of her persona, and her approach to life. Lisa is a Cancer rising. This means that Lisa comes across as very caring, nurturing, emotional, sensitive, feminine, and she has this motherly, private, and family-oriented aura when you first meet her. Physical traits of Cancer risings are pale skin, round face, short stature, dark hair, and short limbs. Next is Lisa's second house, the house of her self-esteem, her relationship with the material world and her possessions, her income, and her values. Her second house in Leo means that she is great at making money in a creative profession or a career that requires her to show off her personality. She tends to spend money on luxury items a lot, and her self-esteem is affected when she can't buy all of the things that she wants. Next is her third house, the house of communication, mental cognition, learning, early education, your local community, your siblings, and socializing. Her third house is in Virgo. This is a very good placement to have because the third house is ruled by Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury. Meanwhile, Virgo is also ruled by Mercury as well. So having a Mercury-ruled sign in a Mercury-ruled house provides this person with amazing communication skills and intelligence. Virgos are known for being quite detail-oriented and are perfectionists. She prefers everything to be organized and has the mindset of always wanting to self-improve to get as close to perfection as possible. However, even though Virgo is a mutable sign that is versatile and can adapt to chaos, Virgo Mercury's or Virgo third house people tend to still be quite judgmental and hypercritical of other people. This can cause other people to get annoyed and pissed off with them. However, from their point of view, they aren't trying to be annoying and nitpicky, they just want you to be the best version of yourself. Her Lilith is in the third house. This means her negative qualities from her Lilith in Virgo, such as being judgmental, hypercritical, overly traditional, and a perfectionist, are projected mainly onto her third house, aka her communication style, mindset, her relationship with her siblings, her local community, and her experiences in school. Her Mars is in the third house. She is very direct and assertive with the way she communicates with other people, but she can easily come across as overly aggressive and stubborn at times.
You didn't do this right. All of you. This is so easy, why can't you just do it right?
She may suffer from anger management issues, so she should be careful in their communication with coworkers. She may be quite impatient and will maybe be impulsive and act or say things without thinking. She does not accept people who lie, lack confidence, do things slowly, and who are unsure of their actions. Her North Node is in the third house. This means, in addition to her embracing more positive Virgo traits such as being analytical, intelligent, reliable, self-improving, loyal, and honest, she also needs to put more energy towards her third house, aka her communication style, mindset, her relationship with her siblings, her local community, her experiences in school, and socializing. Next is her fourth house, the house of family, ancestry, home, psychological foundation, self-care, your mother, your parenting style. Her fourth house is in Libra. She is especially accommodating with family, might often take on the role of mediator in her family, and was a very sociable and charming kid. During her childhood, her parents, especially her mother, taught to work hard, be fair, responsible, and hard-working. Sometimes they lack intimacy and emotional connection in their relationships with other family members. She seeks a home that is beautiful and aesthetically pleasing. Next is her 5th house, the house of creativity, performance, entertainment, your children, and romantic life. Her 5th house is in Scorpio and her Pluto is in the 5th house. She seeks passion and depth in the areas of pleasure, entertainment, creativity, art, love, romance, dating, and children. This position is probably what makes her such a dedicated performer and entertainer. In romantic relationships, she is very passionate and committed to her partners, however, some may interpret this as being possessive or overly dominating. She also may prefer to keep her romantic life private and out of the public eye. In terms of her children, they are likely to take on Scorpio traits such as being passionate, faithful, ambitious, possessive, secretive, and resentful. Next is her moon in the 5th house. Since her moon is the closest celestial body to her 5th house line, she is likely to relate to this placement more than her Pluto in the 5th house, even though they kind of give off the same vibe because they're both water signs. She is sensitive and protective of her loved ones. In romantic relationships, she seeks stability, safety, comfort, and emotional support from her partner. She creates families with close relationships and finds satisfaction in her relations with other family members. Family and parenthood carry special importance for her happiness. She is very creative, with very strong artistic skills. She has a deep attachment to children, her hobbies, her romantic partners, and entertaining others. Since the moon rules Cancer rules the 4th house, the house of femininity and women, most if not all of her children will be girls. Her children are also likely to take on traits such as being imaginative, emotional, intuitive, loyal, nurturing, pessimistic, negative, and moody. Next is her 6th house, the house of health, nutrition, fitness, employment and work life, service, and usefulness. Her 6th house in Sagittarius. She seeks mental stimulation in her daily life. Her routines can be scattered, preferring to wing it rather than neatly plan things out. She's not as interested in the details as she is in the bigger picture. Monotonous, confining jobs can wear him down and discourage her. It would be best if she felt that she's growing, learning, or heading somewhere in her job as a sign of progress. Otherwise, she's likely to feel unfulfilled. Jupiter, as ruler of Sagittarius, can bring an element of luck to her health and her ability to maintain employment. Next is her 7th house, the house of partnerships, marriage, one-on-one relationships, alliances, conflicts, and legal matters. Her 7th house is in Capricorn. She has very high standards for others when it comes to romantic relationships. While this is not necessarily a bad quality, as being selective helps her avoid people who want to take advantage of her, it makes it difficult for her to find a romantic partner. She needs someone who is loyal and who relies on her support. As a result, she may decide to not commit to a relationship until later in life. In romantic relationships, she appreciates the partners that seek her support and who can offer theirs in return. Her future spouse will be very mature and career and goal-oriented. However, since Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, being the planet of hardships, creates struggles within her marriages and long-term romantic relationships, such as learning how to be a partner to another person. Her future spouse is likely to take on traits of hardworking, ambitious, sophisticated, overly serious, hypercritical, pessimistic, and overly skeptical. Her Neptune is in the 7th house. She is inclined to give more to a partnership or marriage than she takes. In contrary to her 7th house in Capricorn, she may tend to idealize her partner and will ignore the negative or toxic traits they might have, so every so often she needs to take a step back, consciously attempting to see her partners and relationships for what they are, rather than what she wishes them to be. She might be attracted to relationships in which she feels a partner needs to be saved somehow, or in which a partner saves her. Her future spouse is likely to take on traits of being empathetic, creative, selfless, moody, pessimistic, optimistic, and an escapist. Next is her 8th house, the house of sex, intimacy, death, transformation, peak experiences in life, deep connections with other, and shared finances. Her 8th house is in Aquarius and Uranus in the 8th house. Since her Uranus is the closest planet to her 8th house line, she is likely to relate to this placement more than her Jupiter in the 8th house. Her 8th house in Aquarius means that she has an adventurous attitude when it comes to shared finances and sex. She enjoys taking financial risks with her money, and she associates sex with a sense of freedom and liberation. When it comes to investing and using joint finances, such people take an unconventional approach. Sometimes her financial risks pay off, but more often she will lose money in the process. As with everything else in her life, their transformations are unusual and happen spontaneously. For her death, her 8th house in Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus, the planet of spontaneity and sudden change, Lisa's death is likely to be quick, painless, and the public will be shocked by her death because no one will see it coming. Her death could involve a bizarre accident or could involve her friends. Her Jupiter is in the 8th house. She might consider yourself rather lucky when it comes to intimate relationships, money or resources through partnerships, and support from others. She is likely to be very straightforward and blunt when it comes to discussing taboo topics. She is very optimistic about transformations and embraces the changes in their lives. In terms of death, since Jupiter rules Sagittarius, which rules the 9th house, the house of travel, she is likely to die while traveling, whether that be short-term travel like a car or train or long-term travel like on an airplane. Next is her 9th house, the house of travel, philosophy, religion, ethics, morals, and cross-cultural relationships. Her 9th house is in Aquarius. She may have very unconventional views when it comes to her ethics and morals, and she holds the belief in social equality for all. She enjoys traveling and likes meeting new people who can challenge her beliefs. Her morals and ideals are open to change, but she tends on struggling to understand or reach a middle ground with people with a different belief than her, and she can be an extremist who imposes her views onto other people instead of just agreeing to disagree. She likes to travel as a part of a group or with her friends, and religion may create a sense of community for her. Her south node in the 9th house. This means, in addition to her rejecting Pisces' negative traits such as being negative, moody, overly sensitive, absent-minded, indecisive, overly optimistic, gullible, and escapist, she also needs to put less energy towards her 9th house, aka traveling, philosophy, religion, higher education, and cross-cultural relation. Next is her 10th house, the house of your reputation, public image, career, long-term goals, masculinity, and your father. Lisa has a 10th house stellium. This means Lisa has 3 or more planets in the 10th house, which means her long-term goals in life, career, and public image play a major influence on her life. Her 10th house is in Aries. Lisa concentrates her efforts on her career and financial success. She is material-oriented and can feel immense satisfaction after each major career achievement. At work, she takes the position of a leader and is successful in being team leaders or company heads. She will succeed in competitive professions, and we all know how competitive the K-pop industry can be. Overall, Lisa can have a reputation of being confident, strong, positive, self-centered, a leader, impatient, impulsive, and reactive. Her Venus is in the 10th house. Since Venus is the closest planet to her 10th house line, she will most likely relate to this more than her Sun, Saturn, and Mercury in the 10th house. This means others tend to respect her for her charming manner, and she has many admirers, as there is an aura about her that is charming and attractive. She is known for her beauty and her interest in artistic fields. She has a great need to be recognized or admired for her charm, beauty, or loving manner, but she should be careful not to become too wrapped up in what others think of her, as she might come across as fake or superficial. Her Sun is in the 10th house. This means that she urges to work towards her goals, success, and accomplishments. She hates taking orders from other people, which is surprising considering the fact that she ended up picking a career in which she is constantly micromanaged. And since the Sun rules Leo, which rules the 5th house, the house of entertainment and theatrics, it makes sense for her to choose a career in which she performs on stage for the enjoyment of others. Her Saturn is in the 10th house. She takes a slow and steady approach to work, and she will most likely achieve success in her job after many years of hard work and progress. She has a reputation for being practical, hard-working, and determined people, as she takes her profession very seriously. However, she may also have a reputation for being cold-hearted, pessimistic, and overly serious. Sometimes, she does not have the energy to work on things, and she regrets her lack of action afterward. feeling that she could do better to achieve her goal. Her Mercury is in the 10th house. This means that she is very talented at communication and uses this skill often at her work. She has a reputation for being very intelligent, and she prefers frequent changes of setting or activities to remain stimulated or challenged, which shouldn't be hard for her to receive as a K-pop idol. Next is her 11th house, the house of groups, friendships, humanitarianism, social awareness, technology, the future, and your hopes and wishes. Her 11th house is in Taurus. She is an extremely dependable and reliable person that her friends can count on. Overall, she is extremely loyal and committed to her friends even if it results in her detriment or her remaining in a toxic friendship. She remains close to her friends for a long time in her life and creates long-lasting memories for them. However, the negative is that she can be a bit self-centered in relationships and struggle to put herself in her friend's shoes. She may also struggle with compromising in friendships as Taurus is a very stubborn and inflexible sign. She dreams about having security in life, and it may take years before she realizes this dream. Next is her 12th house, the house of your subconscious, sacrifice, spirituality, selflessness, escapism, repression, and solitude. Her 12th house is in Gemini. This means that Lisa is full of great ideas in the comfort of her private space, yet she seems to lose her drive if placed in a group setting. When not recognized by others, she can feel dull and unappreciated. She can tend to gossip and talk shit about others behind her back, especially if she has low self-esteem. If she spends too much time minding the business of others, she can miss the opportunity to express her creative talents. Okay, this is the end of the reading. Thanks for watching. If you wish to purchase an astrology or tarot card reading from me, click the link in the description below. If you would like to hear me talk shit about K-pop drama or DM me a private question you have about one of my videos, here is my Instagram. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And remember to stay snatched.